Right now, millions of people are one power outage, one natural disaster, or one supply chain disruption away from complete chaos. But there's a small group who won't panic because they've already prepared. What separates those who survive comfortably from those who struggle? It's not luck, it's preparation. In the next several minutes, you'll discover the exact 20% of preparedness actions that cover 80% of real-world emergencies. No doomsday bunkers, no paranoia, just practical, proven strategies that work for blackouts, storms, civil unrest, and personal crises. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to stockpile, how much you need, and why most people are preparing for the wrong things. Welcome to Prep Pantry, where we cut through the noise and focus on realistic preparedness for everyday people. If you want to protect your family without the overwhelm, hit that like button and subscribe, because this channel is your roadmap to quiet confidence in uncertain times. Now, let's get into it. Let's talk about the one thing that will kill you faster than anything else in an emergency: lack of water. You can survive weeks without food, but only days without water. This is why water is always your first priority, no exceptions. Experts recommend storing at least 15 gallons of potable water per person. That breaks down to about 1 gallon per day for 2 weeks, which covers drinking, cooking, and basic hygiene. If you're living in a small apartment or have limited space, don't let that stop you. Start with whatever you can manage. Even a few gallons is better than nothing when disaster strikes. But here's what most people miss. Stored water can run out, or worse, it can become contaminated. That's why you need backup treatment methods. Get yourself a portable water filter or a countertop model that can make questionable water safe to drink. Purification tablets are lightweight and effective. UV pens can kill bacteria in minutes. And yes, even regular household bleach can purify water if you know the right ratios. Typically 8 drops per gallon of clear water, double that if it's cloudy. The key is learning how to use these methods now before you're in a crisis situation where every decision feels overwhelming. Now, water doesn't last forever in storage. You need to rotate your supply every 6 months to prevent stagnation and bacterial growth. Mark your calendar, set a reminder on your phone, whatever it takes to make this routine, and make sure every single family member knows where the water is stored and how to treat it. Clean water isn't just about survival, it's about staying healthy and functional when everything around you is falling apart. Once you've got water handled, it's time to talk about food. You need to aim for at least 23,000 calories per person. That's roughly 1,500 calories a day for 2 weeks. Now, let me be clear, in an emergency, you're not trying to create gourmet meals. The goal is to stay fueled and functional, not to feast. Focus on shelf-stable foods that don't require refrigeration and can be stored safely for months or even years. So, what should you actually store? The smart approach is to mix long-term prepper meals with everyday foods you already eat. We're talking canned goods, pasta, rice, peanut butter, oats, beans, and dried fruit. Choose items that are ready to eat or only need hot water to prepare, because cooking from scratch might be impossible if the power's out and you're dealing with limited fuel. This isn't the time to stock up on ingredients for elaborate recipes. Here's the good news. You don't need to overhaul your entire pantry overnight. Start small. Add 1 or 2 extra items each time you go grocery shopping, and your emergency stash will grow steadily without breaking your budget. Think about dietary needs, allergies, and preferences. If you have kids who hate canned vegetables, don't stock up on them. Find alternatives they'll actually eat. And don't forget comfort foods. A bar of chocolate or some instant pudding might seem trivial, but these small morale boosters can make a huge psychological difference during stressful times. Before you buy anything in bulk, test it, cook it, taste it, see if your family will actually eat it. There's nothing worse than discovering during an emergency that you've stockpiled food nobody can stomach. Focus on 4 key factors: calorie count, shelf life, ease of preparation, and variety. Make stockpiling part of your routine, not a one-time panic buy. And if you have babies or young children, factor in baby food, formula, and plenty of snacks that can keep little ones calm when everything feels unstable. Now let's talk about fire, because this is about way more than just warmth. Fire is crucial for cooking, boiling water to make it safe, and even signaling for help if you need rescue. You need multiple ways to start a fire. Never rely on just one method. Stock up on lighters and matches and keep them in waterproof containers, but also have backups like ferro rods, magnesium fire starters, or even cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly, which catch flame incredibly easily. Here's the critical part. Practice using these tools before you need them. Starting a fire with a ferro rod isn't intuitive if you've never done it. You don't want your first attempt to be in freezing temperatures with wet wood and shaking hands. Get comfortable with your fire starting gear now. You also need to think about fuel. Store dry tinder, sticks, dryer lint, old newspaper, cardboard, anything that ignites quickly. If you're planning to cook or heat indoors, compact stoves that run on butane or alcohol are incredibly useful, but make sure they're rated for indoor use. Carbon monoxide poisoning is a real threat, and you can't afford to make that mistake. Fire gives you control over your environment, and in a crisis, control equals survival.
Stock up on headlamps and flashlights. Headlamps are especially useful because they keep your hands free for tasks. Keep them charged and ready, with spare bulbs and batteries nearby. Store those extra batteries in sealed bags to prevent corrosion. But don't stop there. Candles and lanterns provide light and can double as heat sources in a pinch. Rechargeable LED lights are excellent, and solar-powered lamps are a solid investment, but you absolutely must have non-electric backups. Technology fails, batteries die, solar panels don't work at night. Glow sticks are underrated. They're perfect for kids because they're safe, and you can use them to mark paths or exits in complete darkness. The biggest mistake people make is relying on a single source of light. Diversify. Practice using all your lighting options so everyone in your household knows where they are and how to use them. A solid lighting plan doesn't just help you see, it reduces fear and increases safety. When you can see what you're doing, you make better decisions. Temperature control can be the difference between uncomfortable and life-threatening. If you live anywhere that gets cold, indoor safe heaters are non-negotiable for winter emergencies. Look for propane, butane, or electric models that are specifically designed for indoor use. But heating devices are only part of the equation. Layer up with wool blankets, sleeping bags rated for cold weather, hats, gloves, and thick socks. Your body loses heat through your head and extremities first, so covering these areas is critical. On the flip side, if you're in a hot climate, extreme heat can be just as deadly as extreme cold. USB-powered fans are a game changer because they can run off power banks or even your laptop, providing relief when air conditioning isn't available. Thermal blankets and emergency space blankets are incredibly versatile. You can use them to reflect body heat in cold weather or to block out sunlight and create shade in hot weather. The key is to balance your gear for both hot and cold conditions. Climate change means weather is getting more extreme and less predictable. You might face a freak cold snap in a normally warm area or a heat wave in a typically cool region. Practice setting up your heating and cooling solutions so you're not fumbling through instructions when you're already uncomfortable and stressed. Let's talk about shelter, because even if you're staying in your home, you might need to adapt your living space quickly. A simple tarp is one of the most useful and underrated tools you can own. You can use it to cover broken windows, block wind, create makeshift tents, collect rainwater, or assist with cleanup after a disaster. Tarps are cheap, lightweight, and incredibly versatile. Practice setting up tarps with ropes or bungee cords so you can secure them without needing nails or power tools. Learn a few basic knots. It's a skill that takes 10 minutes to learn and can save you hours of frustration later. If you need to leave your home entirely, a basic tent or heavy-duty emergency blanket can be a lifesaver. The goal isn't to become a camping expert overnight. The goal is to be familiar enough with your gear that you can use it effectively when everything is going wrong. Now we need to talk about medical preparedness, because in an emergency, professional help might be delayed or completely unavailable. A robust home medical kit goes far beyond a box of Band-Aids. Start with the basics: bandages in various sizes, gauze pads, adhesive tape, and antiseptic wipes, and pain relievers like ibuprofen or acetaminophen. Then expand to include fever reducers, antidiarrheal medications, allergy pills, motion sickness tablets, and any personal prescription medications you or your family members need. But don't stop there. Include a thermometer, medical tape, elastic bandages for sprains, burn cream, splints, instant cold packs, CPR face shields, and a tourniquet. Yes, a tourniquet. Severe bleeding is one of the most common preventable causes of death in emergencies, and a tourniquet can save a life in minutes. And here's something most people overlook. Get a first aid manual and keep it with your kit. When you're stressed and adrenaline is pumping, your memory fails. Visual guides can literally walk you through life-saving procedures step by step. Take this a step further and invest in training. A basic first aid course or trauma care class will give you the confidence and skills to stop bleeding, treat burns, handle fractures, and perform CPR. When help is delayed or unavailable, knowing what to do in those critical first minutes can mean the difference between life and death. Hygiene might not sound like a survival priority, but trust me, it becomes critical fast. When running water isn't available, wet wipes become indispensable. You can use them to clean your hands, face, and body without wasting precious stored water. Hand sanitizer stops germs from spreading and prevents illness, something you absolutely cannot afford in an emergency when medical care might be limited. Camp soap, which is biodegradable and travel-friendly, is perfect for quick cleanups. Castile soap is especially versatile because you can use it for your body, clothes, dishes, and surfaces. Don't neglect dental care either. Toothbrushes, toothpaste, and floss might seem minor, but dental infections are painful and can become serious quickly. Stock up on feminine hygiene products, deodorant, nail clippers, and any other personal care items you use regularly. These small things make a massive difference over time. You also need to think about waste management. Trash bags, disposable gloves, and disinfectant wipes help you manage messes and reduce the spread of bacteria. Hygiene isn't just about comfort, though that matters too. It's about preventing illness and maintaining morale. When you feel clean, you feel more human, and that psychological boost is invaluable when everything else is chaos. Communication can become your lifeline in an emergency, but most people only think about their cell phones.
When cell towers are down or overloaded, your smartphone becomes a paperweight. That's why you need backup communication tools. A NOAA weather radio provides real-time updates directly from the National Weather Service, giving you critical information about storms, evacuations, and emergency instructions. These radios are affordable and reliable. If you want more power, two-way ham radios let you communicate over long distances, but they require a license and practice to use effectively. If you're serious about preparedness, getting your ham radio license is worth the investment. Solar-powered or hand-crank radios can pick up emergency broadcasts even when batteries are dead or unavailable. And don't underestimate low-tech solutions. Whistles, mirrors, and signal lights are simple but incredibly effective for communication when technology fails. A whistle can be heard much farther than a human voice and requires no power. A mirror can signal for help during daylight. Make sure everyone in your household knows how to use these tools and understands your family's communication plan. Decide in advance where you'll meet if you get separated, and practice the plan so it becomes second nature. Let's talk about power, because keeping your devices running means staying connected, informed, and functional. The first step is battery management. Store spare batteries for all your devices, flashlights, radios, medical equipment, and keep them in sealed bags clearly labeled for easy access. But batteries alone aren't enough. Solar chargers and power banks are essential backups. A good power bank can recharge your phone multiple times, and a solar charger can keep replenishing your power banks as long as the sun is shining. Don't rely on just one solution. Have multiple small battery packs, consider wind-up chargers for emergencies, and stock USB adapters that give you flexibility to charge different devices. Your car can also be a power source. A 12-volt car charger can run or recharge gear in a pinch. Just be careful not to drain your car battery completely, because you might need it to evacuate or get help. Power isn't just about convenience. It's about staying informed through emergency broadcasts, communicating with loved ones, and maintaining access to critical information. Plan ahead for how you'll keep your essential devices running when the grid goes down. Now let's talk about tools, because in an emergency, the right tool can solve problems that would otherwise be impossible. An axe and a shovel aren't just yard tools, they're vital for survival. You might need to cut firewood for heat, break through barriers, move debris, dig drainage, build temporary shelters, or even defend yourself if absolutely necessary. These are multi-purpose tools that earn their place in any preparedness kit. Work gloves are just as important. Blisters, cuts, and splinters might seem minor, but they can become infected and debilitating when medical care isn't available. Protect your hands so you can keep working when you need to. Having the right tools and knowing how to use them gives you the ability to solve problems and adapt to changing situations. Here's something most preparedness guides completely overlook: your mental health. Survival isn't just physical, it's psychological. Stress, fear, and boredom can break down your resilience faster than hunger or cold. Pack board games, books, headphones, or load a tablet with movies and music. For kids, simple games and coloring books can prevent boredom from turning into panic and stress. Maintaining routines brings normalcy to abnormal situations. Reading before bed, playing games together in the evening, having regular meal times. These small rituals create stability and comfort when everything else is uncertain.
Distractions like puzzles, podcasts, sketchpads, or Sudoku help break the cycle of worry and keep your mind clear so you can make better decisions. Don't underestimate the power of morale. A family that can laugh together, play together, and stay mentally engaged is going to handle a crisis far better than one that's consumed by fear and boredom. Mental preparation is survival preparation. Finally, let's talk about documentation, because in chaos, proof of identity and ownership can be the key to getting help and recovering afterward. You need to organize your important papers now, before disaster strikes. Make copies of birth certificates, insurance policies, property deeds, marriage licenses, passports, vaccination records, and local maps. Store printed copies in a waterproof folder or bag, and keep digital scans on a USB thumb drive that you can grab quickly. Here's a tip most people miss. Maintain a small notebook with important phone numbers written down: doctors, insurance agents, close relatives, emergency contacts. When your phone dies or cell service is down, paper saves the day. You don't need every document you've ever been issued, just the ones that prove identity, ownership, and insurance coverage. Quick access to these papers can speed up aid, insurance claims, and recovery after a disaster. Think about it. If your house floods or burns down, how will you prove what you owned? How will you prove who you are if you need to evacuate without your wallet? Or how will you contact people if your phone is dead or lost? These aren't paranoid questions, they're practical ones that could save you weeks or months of bureaucratic nightmare. Preparedness isn't about fear. It's about confidence and control when everything else falls apart. Start with water and food, build your medical kit, master fire and light, and don't forget the mental game. The people who survive and thrive in emergencies aren't the ones with the most gear. They're the ones who've prepared the essentials and practiced using them. If this video opened your eyes to what real preparedness looks like, smash that like button and subscribe to Prep Pantry for more practical survival strategies. Drop a comment and tell us what's the first thing you're adding to your prep kit. Stay sharp, stay ready, and remember, the quietly prepared always come out ahead.